Today, the market is filled with millions of people who, by nature, are security minded, but due to the changing economy, are being forced to cross from the left side of the cash flow quadrant into the right side where their brand of security does not really exist. That caused me concern. Many people think their pension plans are safe when they really are not. If there is a crash or a major depression, their plans could be wiped out. Their retirement plans are not as safe as the retirement plans our parents had. Great economic uphills coming. The stage is set for a great economic uphill. Such uphill upheavals have always marked the end of an old era and the birth of a new era. At the end of every age, there are people who move forward and other people who cling to ideas of the past. I am afraid that for people who still the stage is set for a great economic uphill. Such uphills have always marked the end of the old era and the birth of a new era. At the end of every stage, at the end of every age, there are people who move forward and other people who cling to ideas of the past. I am afraid that for people who still expect that their financial security is the responsibility of a big company or a big government, they will be disappointed in the coming years. Those are ideas of the industrial age, not the information age. No one has a crystal ball. I subscribe to many investment news surveys. Each one says something different. Some say the near future is bright. Some say a market crash and major depressions are right around the corner. To remain objective, I listen to both sides because both sides have points worth listening to. Instead, I work at staying educated in both the B and the I quadrant, being prepared for whatever happens. A person who is prepared will prosper no matter which direction the economy goes, whenever it goes. If history is any indicator, a person who lives to the age of 75 should anticipated going through one depression and two major recession. Well, my parents went through their depressions, but the boomers have not, and it has been approximately 60 years since the last depression hit. Today, we all need to be concerned with more than just job security. I think we also need to be concerned about our own long term financial security and not leave their responsibility to a company or the government. The Times officially changed when companies said that they were no longer responsible for your retirement years. Once they switched to the defined contribution retirement plans, the message was that you were now responsible for investing in your own retirement. Today, we all need to become wiser investor, ever vigilant of the change in the ups and downs of the financial market. I recommend learning to be an investor rather than giving your money to somebody else to invest for you. If you simply turn your money over to a mutual fund or to advisor, you may have to wait until you're 65 to find out if the person did a good job. If they did a lousy job, you may have to work for the rest of your life. Millions of people will have to do just that because it will be too late for them to invest or learn about investing. Learn to manage risk. It is possible to invest for high returns with low risks. All you have to do is to learn how it's done. It's not hard. In fact, it's much like learning how to ride a bike. In the early stages, you may fall down, but after a while, the falling stops and investing becomes second nature. Just as riding a bicycle is for most of us. The problem with the left side of the cash flow quadrant is that most people there to avoid financial risks. Instead of avoiding risks, I recommend learning how to manage financial risks. Take a risk. People who take risks change the world. Few people ever get rich without taking risks. Too many people have come to depend on government to eliminate the risks of life. The beginning of the information age is the end of big government as we know it. Big government has just become too expensive. Unfortunately, the millions of people around the world that have come to depend upon the idea of entitlement of pension for life will be left behind financially. The information age means we all need to become more self-sufficient and begin to grow up. The idea of the idea the idea of study hard and find a secure job is an idea born in the industrial age. We are not in that age anymore. The times are changing. The problem is many people ideas have not. They still think they are entitled to something. Many still think that the I quadrant is not their responsibility. They continue to think that the government or big business or the labor union or their mutual funds or their family will take care of them when their working days are over. For their sake, I hope they write. These individuals have no idea to read further. It is my concern for those people who recognize the need to become investor that prompted me to write the cash flow quadrant. It was written to help individuals who want to make the move from the left side of the quadrant to the right side but don't know where to start. Anyone can make the move with the right skills and determination. If you have already found your own financial freedom, I say congratulations. Please tell others about your path and guide them if they want to be guided. Guide them, but let them find their own path. For there are many paths to financial freedom. Regardless of what you decide, please remember this financial freedom might be free, but it does not come cheap. Freedom has a price, and to me, it is worth the price. The big secret is this: it takes neither money to be financially free nor a good formal education. It also doesn't have to be risky. Instead, freedom price is measured in dreams, desire, and the ability to overcome disappointments that occur to all of us along the way. Are you willing to pay the price? Once of my father paid the price, the other didn't. He paid a different kind of price. The B quadrant quiz. Are you a true business owner? You are if you can answer yes to the following question. Can you leave your business for a year or more and return to find for more profit? Chapter 3: Why people choose security over freedom. Both of my dads recommend that I go to college and get a college degree, but it was after receiving the degree that their advice to me changed. My highly educated dad constantly advised go to school, get good grades, and then get a good, safe, secure job. He was recommending a life path focus on the left side of the quadrant that looked to like this. My uneducated but rich dad advised focusing on the right side of the quadrant: go to school, get good grades, then start your own company. Their advice was different because one dad was concerned with job security and the other was more concerned about financial freedom. Why people seek job security? The primary reason many people seek job security is because that is what they are taught to seek at home and at school. Millions of people continue to follow that advice. Many of us have been conditioned from our earliest days to think about job security rather than financial security or financial freedom. And because most of us learned little to nothing but money at home or at school, it is only natural that many of us cling even more tightly to the idea of job security instead of reaching for freedom. If you look at the cash flow quadrant, you will notice that the left side is motivated by security, and the right side is motivated by freedom. Trapped by debt. The main reason that 90% of the population is working on the left side is simply because that is a side they learned about at the school. They 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 then leave the school and are soon as deeply in debt, so deeply in debt that they must cling even tighter to a job or professional security just to pay the bills. Often I meet young people who receive their college diploma along with the bill for their college loan. Several of them have reported being depressed when they see that they are $50,000 to $150,000 in debt for their college education. If the parents paid for their education, then the parents are strapped financially for years. I recently read the most American today will receive a credit card while still in school or will be in debt for the rest of their life. That is because they are often follow a script that became popular in the industrial age. Follow the script. If we track the life of the average educated pupil, the financial script often goes like this. The child goes to school, graduates, good find a job, soon has to some money to spend. The young adult now can afford to rent apartment, buy a TV set, new clothes, some furniture, and of course a car. And now the bills begin to come in one day. The adult meets someone special, spark fly, they fall in love and get married for a while. Life is a blissful because two can live as cheaply one. They now have two incomes, only one rent to pay, and they can afford to set a few dollars aside to buy the dreams of all young couples, their own homes. They find their dreams home, pull the money from saving, and use it for a down payment on the house, and they now have a mortgage because they have a new house. They need new furnishing, so they find a furniture store that advertise those magic words: no money down, easily monthly payment. Life is wonderful, and they throw a party to have all their friends over to see their new house, new cars, new furniture, new toys. They are now deeply in debt for the rest of their life. Then the first child arrived. The average well-educated hardworking couples, after dropping the child off at nursery school, must now put their nose to the grandstone and go to work. They become trapped by the need for job security simply because on average they are less than 3 months away from financial bankruptcy. And from these people, you often hear, I can't afford to quit, I have bills to pay, or a modification from a song from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I owe, so it's off to work I go. Or from Tense's Ernie Ford song from the 50s, you load 16 tons and what do you get? After they older and deeper in depth, Saint Peter, don't you take me cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. The sex trap. One of the reason I learned so much from my rich dad was because he had the free time to teach me. As he grew more successful, he had more free time and money. If business got better, he did not have to work harder. He simply had his present and expand the system and hire more people to do the work. If his investment did well, he reinvested the money and made more money. Because of his success, he had more free time. He spent hours with both his sons and me explaining to us everything he was doing in business and investing. I was learning more from him than I was learning at school. That is what happens when you work hard on the right side of the quadrant B and the I side. My highly educated dad worked hard also, but he worked hard on the left side of the quadrant by working hard, getting promoted, gain more Getting promoted and gaining more responsibility, he had less and less free time to spend with his kids. He would leave for work at 7 a.m., and many times he would not see him because he had to go to the bed before he got home. That is what happened when you work hard and become successful on the left side of the quadrant. Success brings you less and less time, even if it does bring more money.